Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to the latest edition of the Franchising 360 show. I am Tim Parmeter along with Danielle Wright.
That's me.
As always, we are here to take a 360-degree view of the world of franchising. See what we did with the name of that?
Yeah,
like 360?
so cute.
I know,
so fun.
clever. Trying to properly educate you on all things. Things like, should you be a franchise owner? If so, which franchise should you own? Once you are a franchise owner, how do you improve and grow your business even further? And what about somebody sitting out there, hey, I've got a business, maybe I want to turn it into a franchise. We can help show you how to turn it into a national or maybe an international franchise. Danielle's been in the industry for 15 years on the franchisor side, all sorts of roles, and now consults several brands on how to grow. And I'm the founder and CEO of Fran Coach. We help you find the best franchise to own. So that's a little bit about us. Danielle, we've got a guest coming in later tonight.
I know, and it just makes me hungry.
Yes. And this is somebody you've known longer than me. We've known her a long time. And we've been there as customers. So
yeah.
We're already planning what we're ordering later.
Right, because why not go there after we're done with this show, right? It's Friday night. It'd be a good date night. And she talks about that. Super, super fun. It's a different concept. It takes restaurants to a whole nother level, as they would say, but it's a super fun experience.
Yeah, and we talked last week about food franchises, right?
Yes.
We probably spent the majority of the first... This is episode number 30, by the way.
I know,
so
yeah.
woo.
There we go. We survived. I haven't killed them yet.
And so everybody thinks about food, right? When you hear franchise, it equates to food,
a lot,
right? And we tried to kind of point out, and we had a couple guests earlier in the month that were those super sexy repair brands. But we talked last week about the different types of food, and excited to have a kind of a more full service thing tonight.
Yep. And I think we've got a series of that. So as the viewers might be excited, there's all different talks and opportunities and tracks, and restaurant just has a really deep bench for franchising.
Yes. And speaking of which, nice segue, Danielle.
Yeah,
good job.
So
we have our super fun little thing tonight.
Yeah, we're no longer going to do
the email thing, but this is a franchise fun fact with Danielle, currently sponsored by nobody, but
yeah, it's the Friday fun fact.
Who knows? Danielle, what do you got for us?
So funny enough that we're talking restaurants, right? So I went and I dug really deep and digged into a lot of stuff and said, what kind of facts can we get about franchising? Because it's been around a long time, and let's go with that. So this week in, I think it was 1967, McDonald's burger, here we go, became a publicly traded company. So they had been an IPO for 2 years. When you bought stock with McDonald's, it was a 2-for-1. Shocker.
Wow.
2-for-1. Yeah. And they had already started expanding internationally. So they had locations in Canada.
Did you supersize that back then?
I don't think so, but that was a little bit before my time. It might not have been before yours. That's still up for debate.
Wait, when was it?
1967.
Oh, just barely.
Just barely. You were probably thought about, but not actually there. But they had locations in Canada and Puerto Rico at that time.
Wow. Do we know? Can we maybe do a follow-up next week on what it started at, what the price was?
I mean, we can definitely roll into that Friday fun fact if we need to.
I wish I was alive then to have bought
2-for-1.
Yes.
But they do that now.
Yeah,
you can get 2 Big Macs for the price of 1. But yes, it probably does cost more.
Yes.
Correct.
So,
correct.
All right. Super cool.
So that was a fun fact.
Friday's franchise fun
fact.
And if you can say that 5 times really fast,
you get a mug.
you get a BOGO on the mug. So we got a guest coming in tonight. This not just part of the franchise, like she is the founder of it, and more full service.
Very family business.
Super family business, super fun place to go, and new into franchising. So we've talked a lot about the plan and how that works. So I'm excited to hear what she has to say.
Yeah, I got introduced to her pretty early on. She hadn't yet gotten a franchise partner. So she was doing all the things founders do that they shouldn't do. Right. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, hey, I want to become a franchisor, you should, but let's talk about how the right way to do that is.
Exactly. So, which is why you watch the Franchising 360 show, so we can properly educate you. So we've got an exciting guest coming on the show right when we come back here on the Franchising 360 show. Hey, welcome back to the Franchising 360 show. Sitting dangerously close to me is Danielle Wright.
Hello.
And now even better is we have a guest joining us, and it is the CEO of relatively new franchise and super cool place called
You got that?
Gigglewaters Social Club and Screening Room, which is really long. So we're just going to go with Gigglewaters. The one, the only, Rachel Fine Wilson. Rachel, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
We're kind of mean on these things, so I hope you're ready for...
Bring it.
Yeah, we're not me.
We're not.
Nice try.
I couldn't picture it, but I'm going
but here
along
we
with
go.
you. Okay.
It's fine.
So
It's fine.
we got a lot of questions for you about Gigglewaters, but you've been in franchising a little bit. You know this is a people business more than anything. Give us a little of the Rachel scoop.
Oh man, where to start? We are new to the franchising end of it, but Gigglewaters opened 7.5 years ago.
Woo-hoo.
I know it feels like a minute and a lifetime simultaneously. My background from the franchising perspective, I've had a few backgrounds. I've done some crazy things, but in one of my past lives, I was the senior vice president of U.S. operations for an international education franchise, and I was the field rep who was out helping franchisees to turn their businesses around and make sustainable changes. And so I got to really see the inner workings of what worked and frankly what didn't work from a franchise system, and it gave me kind of a passion and an understanding of franchising. And so when we came to create this concept, it was an opportunity to build something that would be replicable in the future. And that's been kind of our focus. So I didn't ever set out planning to open a restaurant. I'm not even really sure how this happened, you guys. I can say I grew up in my father ran hotels and restaurants my whole life. I grew up in his properties and working on his restaurants and his resorts. At one point, he ran 75 hotels in Arizona, California, Nevada, and kind of did this in a big way. And so he kind of taught me the industry from the inside out. So when my husband and I moved down from New York to Florida, he was in Orlando at the time, and I knew we wanted to live near the water. And he said, I said, I'm moving down to Florida, move over from Orlando, come live near the water with me, retire down here, retires in quotes, and help me do something crazy. And he said, you got it. Let's do this together. So we kind of got together. My dad was an instrumental part. My husband had a great vision for what we wanted to build with Gigglewaters. And my father really had a lot of the depth of knowledge of years of food service, of setting up opening orders and constructing a menu that met our goals from a culinary perspective, but really was strategic in how we put together menus and how we built and were able to operate on a lower food cost and kind of those components that made us successful from the beginning. So the three of us built this team and signed a lease, and oh my gosh, the rest is history. That's kind of how we got here.
Rest is history so far with a huge future moving forward.
Yeah, super exciting. I love it.
So we both know because we've been there, and we may well stop in very soon. But
Excellent.
For everybody else that doesn't know, shame on them. What the heck is Gigglewaters?
So the term Gigglewater is a prohibition term for alcohol, a giggle water. That's where that comes from. But it is a 1920s vibed restaurant, bar, and one-screen classic movie theater. So it's got a kind of nostalgic feel. It's got great craft cocktails. We've won Best Burger in Tampa Bay, Best Whiskey Bar in Tampa Bay a number of years. We've actually 72 culinary awards this year, including Best American Restaurant in the state of Florida 2 years running, which I'm really proud of that one. Thank you.
And there's a movie theater. Like, let's just keep rolling
it's
with
really
that.
fun. So right, the movie theater is this little back room, so it's really intimate. There are people who come to the restaurant and bar, and then there are people who come to the movies. And so you go through these double doors in the back, and there's a 32-seat intimate movie theater back there where you can have access to our full menus, order throughout the movie, watch classic fun movies, Ghostbusters, Goodfellas, Casablanca, Anchorman, whatever you can dream of, and enjoy a movie experience while you have great award-winning food.
All the stuff that we all watch at home, right?
Yes.
Just without
And then make our own food, and it's
Right.
just
It's not the same, you guys. This is much more fun.
that microwave popcorn just isn't quite the same.
No, and they have popcorn too.
I know.
Like,
Good.
I mean,
The popcorn, so we use an Amish hull-less popcorn. I pay a lot of attention to details on the food, and popcorn was a really big thing for me. I don't want to go to get the styrofoam crap at the movie theaters. It's like an oil and it's disgusting. This is a really fantastic product that we import that's hull-less. So it's a really delicate, the little kernels that get stuck in your teeth, it's like half the size. They're really dissolvable. So people who have like braces can usually eat it. Like it's a really fantastic product.
every orthodontist watching this right now is like, no!
I know. And I might have an 11-year-old that just got braces.
By all means, bring her to Gigglewaters.
Cool.
Her popcorn fantasies can come to life.
Cool. Well, his hair looks like he's a girl, but that's all.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Okay, right. So you had this great thing. What prompted you to turn this sucker into a franchise?
You know, it's the idea of building something of expanding your dream, right? You build this model, and we've spent so much time trying to systematize everything that we do. Okay. There aren't a lot of full service restaurant franchises. And I had to look at why. Why are there so many QSRs and not so many FSRs? And I think the reason is that QSRs can be operated by a 16-year-old to some extent, right? Like you're pushing a button, everything is very clean. And so when we decided that we wanted to look at franchising as a growth model, because it is a great strategic growth model, and certainly we want to look at how we do that in a way that is, there's a density of awareness. So we've really looked at hyper-focusing on Tampa Bay to start, Florida to extend, and really not throwing one in Illinois and one in LA. And right, you want to stay, I want a depth of awareness. But we looked at those models of what a QSR does and how we could implement that into the FSR, right? For instance, taking our menu and building flip art cards of every single ingredient in the order that they go in so that anyone walking into that kitchen knows how to make that item. Using systems that have checklists for opening, for mid-shift, for closing, for just finding ways to take the mystery and the difficulty as much as possible out of the full service operations and streamlining it so that anyone stepping into that position with support can do their best.
Which is going to also lead into stepping in as a franchise owner. So let's come back and talk a little bit about how that support will help all of the future owners of Gigglewater. So let's do that in a second when we come back here on the Franchising 360 show right after this. Hey, we are back on the Franchising 360 show. Sitting next to me, Danielle Wright. Sitting across from me is Rachel Fine-Wilson from Gigglewaters. Rachel, we were talking a little bit about some of the things that you have done, kind of getting things started at Gigglewaters, all the systems in place. Now, as you really kind of branch out into finding franchise owners, how important are you finding those systems to be in place? Not just, oh, I can come in and be an employee. Now come in there and be an owner. Talk how that transition has gone a little bit.
Yeah, I think that the systems are everything. I think that, especially for an emerging brand, I'm standing at a franchise show next to brands that have been in existence for quite a bit longer and have a big track record and have huge 19s and all of these things that show a potential franchisee security, a sense of security. So what I bring to the table for someone who's looking at different options is a depth of a bench, is people who have experience not just on the franchising for another corporation, but also in the food service industry, but also someone who has really looked at truly some failures in additional systems and sorted out what would have made that work or what was missing in that. And I think everything we have done has been to build that support and has been to, if it doesn't make sense and isn't replicable, we don't do it, right? I really try to hone in on, we focus on 4 ingredients, which is so funny. We have a huge menu, but we really are selling burgers, chicken, mac and cheese, hot dogs. That's really it.
Gosh, I'm hungry.
Done different ways, right? All Wagyu beef, high quality. We're doing a lot of, so we're creative, but we're streamlined and we're efficient. And so I'm able to run a multi-million-dollar restaurant on a very small amount of inventory that I can constantly turn and keep fresh. And that's just one example of where the systems are built so that a franchisee can kind of have a turnkey solution and not have to make the mistakes that everyone makes when they're first launching their own business, right? When we first opened, we thought sliders would be amazing. Such a smart idea. Let me tell you, worst idea ever. We had hot dog sliders and burger sliders. Suddenly you have a table of 2 people ordering 3 sliders and 3 hot dog sliders, and they've got 6 different orders that have to come out of the kitchen. It was a disaster, right? Because you think as a customer, this will be really fun, or as a first-time owner, this will be fun. But we've said, this is not a replicable, successful idea. Cut it right now, right? Because even though we could have gotten over the hurdle and figured it out at some point, it doesn't make sense. And so when I look at every decision that we've made in streamlining the business has been so that when a franchisee steps in there, they have a system in place that is built for their ease of use. Because I think no one thinks restaurants and ease of use.
Right.
I mean, that's
complicated.
It's a complicated
And as a consumer,
segment.
you just sit there and hope that it just comes out the way that you asked for
100%. It's funny when I'm at a franchise show, all I have to say to someone is, have you ever thought about doing a restaurant? And they either say absolutely or no way in hell. Right? It is a quick way to weed out the people.
Yes.
For sure. So of those restaurant people, I've really focused on how can I make their life easier? What kind of support can we give? And now that we have our first franchisee and she's doing really tremendously well, we've really gotten to refine what support looks like internally. So really overboard. We sit down with her every single Tuesday at 10:30 in the morning and we want to work through her numbers and we want to talk about her COGS and we want to look at her labor forecast. I want to get in the weeds with her.
Franchises lose that over time, right? And so we always go, and for viewers, it's the thing that gets forgotten.
Yeah.
And it's so much attention on the front, then we dial that back as we become more seasoned in the franchise world. And I wish in some aspects they put just as much focus on owner 100 as they did on owner 1 and owner 2.
Absolutely.
Is that a plan for you guys?
Yes. And I've had that conversation of what makes it a great time to get involved in a Gigglewaters, right? Like, do you want to be number 270 or do you want to be number 2?
Right.
Like, that's a really great place to come in because you do have all of my focus.
Yes.
But
you're invested in their success.
I'm so invested. I'm so invested.
There's no way to fail unless you just all of a sudden say, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
I couldn't be more invested because I feel like these are the trailblazers that I'm linking arms with and building a company with. And these are the people who are the first in line for the new iPhone, right? Like these are my early adapters who are like the ones who really want to do something new that hasn't been done before. And so it's a really neat opportunity to get more hand-holding than you will get at unit number 200.
Anywhere else,
My intention is to always do that, right? I mean, I guess you set out with the best intentions, but we've really tried to, even our support, we've tried to systematize. We tried to look at like, we start with daily phone calls, and we went to every other day, and we went to once a week, and we went to week. So we've tried to like set this path in place that our franchisees walk through. And that's been important to me.
And that's the whole thing. You say it all the time. Franchising is a
partnership.
That was one of them. Your little phrase, your little business in the box phrase, right?
Sorry, tee up so I actually know what thoughts going through your brain.
It's a really fun game.
Like that one right there.
Really
There's no bubble above your head that's telling me what it is.
But it is. It's that, and we've talked about it a bunch on the show. Like follow the plan, right? And this is even at a new, they're new, they don't know anything, and yet
they actually probably know more being new. But I also understand the fear of going into something new and. To what you're doing in a credit is like I'm saying, hey, I'm sticking to really close to where I am so I can have those personal touch points. There are a lot of franchise brands that go out there and say, just give me an owner wherever they may be. Yeah. And I think in a lot of the coaching I've given other micro emerging types of brands, like, yes, it sounds wonderful when someone says, hey, I want to open your concept in Texas. That's great. Yep. I literally challenged the founder, are you going to get on a plane and go live in Texas for the next 6 months?
Yep.
No, I have 4 kids and I have my 6 locations and all of these things. I was like, then don't do it.
100%.
It's a discredit to them. It's a discredit to you. And you're going to have a poor launch of your brand in a brand new market that doesn't know who you are. Right. So I support focus in on where you are.
Yes.
And then grow from there. Because if you're really good, which Gigglewaters is, you'll grow naturally and you'll grow in the spaces that feel comfortable
I think the hub and spoke model is such a good approach to it. If I can't get to them on a tank of gas, it's not going to work. Nope. Like I want to be able to be, when there's a crisis on a Friday night, I want to be able to jump in and help. And that's the level of involvement that I want to have as we start to grow.
Yeah. And so I want to come back after the break and talk a little bit about what you look for in an owner, because there's a lot of kind of a common misconception in franchising. Oh, I have to have tons of experience in that. So I want to talk about kind of what you guys are looking for with that when we come back here on the Franchising 360 show right after this. Hey, we are back on the Franchising 360 show. Danielle Wright next to me. Also, Rachel Fine-Wilson from Gigglewaters. We are, I think, both probably a little disappointed you didn't actually bring some food.
I should have fed you. I'm so sorry.
Simple menu, only 4 things, but you couldn't bring
Good
one
point.
of them.
That's okay. It's close. We can hit it up after we're done.
Okay.
You better.
Deal. So maybe I want to be an owner. I know she does.
Always.
So, but I've got no experience working in food service. Like, I can cook hot dogs, but not the same quality of hot dog I can get at Gigglewaters because mine's in the microwave, right? So, and again, my 11-year-old harasses me. He makes them better than me. So,
because I taught him.
Exactly. So, how does somebody like me, no experience, is that even possible? Like, or what are you kind of looking for as an owner?
I'm looking for drive. I'm looking for responsibility. I'm looking for enthusiasm. I think that the kitchen skills can be taught. I think you have to have a little bit of awareness of what restaurant lifestyle is. I think that's the part that I can't really get past. So if you waited tables for a minute in college, if you have some sense of what it's like to be on your feet or to be during a rush or to feel the pinch behind the bar and feel that kind of what that pressure feels like, I think it's important from a lifestyle perspective to understand what the food service is. If you came in and had no clue, I would recommend that you partnered with somebody who has an equity stake that wants to be your operator, right? Yeah. So that there's somebody on the team that's vested in the business that has some understanding of the industry.
It's more like almost like the pressure of it, right? And the kind of, I would guess, the rush a little bit.
It's a huge adrenaline rush. Like that's what is different. I'm sure that there are great painting franchises and power washing, and those are all wonderful. I'm not diminishing anything. It wouldn't be my lifestyle. My lifestyle, and I think that's an important consideration in franchising, right? My lifestyle is I want to shake hands on a Friday night. I want to be the mayor of the town and feel that kind of enthusiasm, walking out to the crowds and seeing everybody waiting. I love that. People either love restaurants or they're terrified of them, right? So I think it's important to understand and to have that an alignment with the kind of life that you want. We're not a bar first, we're a restaurant first. And I think that's an important distinction. So I didn't want a concept that I'm working till 4 a.m. and dealing with like drunks, and that's not
people eat at 4 a.m.
Right.
Yes.
I don't want that. I don't want to be a vampire and sleep all day. I'm looking for a different lifestyle. So, our latest that we're open is 11 o'clock on Friday and Saturday nights. We're not looking for this late night kind of experience, but there are evenings and Sunday morning brunch. And there are times that you're going to be there that are, at least in the first year, until you have a staff that's up and operational, that you have to be willing to do. So to your point, you don't have to be a restaurant expert. You do not have to be a cook. I'm a terrible cook, but you need to understand the industry and be comfortable in that environment.
Yeah.
And I think that's standard. I think I appreciate your flexibility. Most franchises that are in the food segment, like you have to come with X amount of years as operating experience, and we won't bring you unless that. And then the dreaded, for later, like you got to have the money to do it.
Right.
Yeah, you can't. Restaurants are notoriously expensive. Not something that you're just going to go shell out $100,000 for and open up and have the same experience.
Absolutely.
So that's a component that I hope that the viewers are paying attention to. You may love it, you may know it, but remember it's a large economic investment outside of a personal time.
Absolutely. And there's different opportunities. So we're franchising food trucks and brick and mortars, and we're also going to be adding kiosks in shortly. So
fun.
That gives you an opportunity if you want to get in a lower entry point. The food truck is a different lifestyle. And that's something that can be, I loved working on the food truck. You are out on the open road. I'm going to carnivals. I'm going to concerts. You're in the really new, fun environments, and that's a different experience, right? So there's an opportunity to be the person who kind of does the booking and sends the truck out, and maybe isn't working the late nights from that perspective at a lower entry cost on the food truck, and that's a different model. Brick and mortars, you're going to be there that first year for sure.
Touch it.
So we actually have a bunch more we'd like to ask, but we're about out of time for the TV show. Any chance you can stick around, chat with us a little bit more, and have some bonus footage on our YouTube channel?
It would be my pleasure. Absolutely. Let's talk.
Okay, we're going to do that. So if you want to learn more about Gigglewaters, this is their website. It's like right there. Somewhere in this
on
vicinity.
This screen.
It's there. Obviously, anything with our team is at francoach.net. Our YouTube channel, new and improved Fran Coach YouTube channel. There's probably a little QR thing about right there, maybe here for you to check that out. We got a lot more with Rachel. And if you're in anywhere in like North Tampa Bay, like Gigglewaters.
If you're confused on where that's at, it's in Florida. It's okay.
So if you don't know where it is, then you're not close enough to go. But come down for spring break or whatever. There you go. So Rachel, thanks so much for joining us today.
Truly my pleasure.
And for everyone else tuning in tonight, if you're hungry, maybe you can order some, like DoorDash some Gigglewaters to wherever you live around the country. Just come visit. It'll be awesome.
Just come in.
But thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week. We have another food brand coming with us next week. So eat something first or you'll be watching this whole thing and be hungry. Until next Friday, Danielle Wright, I'm Tim Parmeter. This is the Franchising 360 Show. Thanks for tuning in.